I made $102,000 in a singular day dropshipping only running TikTok ads, and this was in less than 1 week of launching the store. In this video, I'm going to go over the entire TikTok ad strategy that allows me to scale up to multiple 5 and even 6-figure days that's been working for me for the last 2 years and even right now in 2025. So as you guys can see, there's no prior revenue on the store. We ended up launching this on the 16th, and by the 21st, we scaled it up to over $100,000 in a singular day, doing almost $250,000 in the first week. And the net profit on this $100,000 day was around 40%, and we profited 38 grand in just a single day. This chart on this store right here is proof of how fast you can actually make money with dropshipping as long as you're doing it the right way. Over here on the TikTok ad account, you can see for this week, we spent $68,000 on the ads to bring back that $250,000. And on the $100,000 day, we spent right around $28,000 to be able to bring back those sales. This, of course, means we had an insane profit margin, and I'm still using the exact same ad strategy to this day. So I'm going to show you guys everything that I'm doing step by step every time I launch, test, and scale a product over on TikTok ads. We're going to go over everything, but first, there's a few metrics that we have to go over. So whenever you test and run ads to a product in a dropshipping store on TikTok, these are the columns that you need to have set up on your ad account, and these are the only metrics that really truly matter. So when you guys are in a TikTok ad account, it's going to look something like this, and you can see these columns are set up by default up here. I'm going to show you guys how to set up the exact columns you need to be able to read your most important metrics. So you're going to come up here to where it says custom table, and then you're going to come down to do custom columns, and then we're going to set up everything that we need. So just follow what I do here. We're going to get rid of a few of these here on the side, and then we're going to add in everything that we need in the proper order that we need it. So up top, we want to have our budget, then we want to have cost, then we're going to have our conversions come right after that. And then we're going to do cost per conversion after conversions. And then these ones we're going to have to look up. So type in ROAS in your columns up here. And this one right here under the website column where it says purchase ROAS, we want to turn that on. Put that right after cost per conversion. After ROAS on the right side, we're going to drag up click-through rate or CTR. And then the last one that we need to type in and look up is called add to cart. So once we type that in, once again, we're going to come to this little website tab, and where it says total and cost, we're going to throw those on, and then we can just drag these up to right after clicks. And that's really all that matters. The rest of these we can get rid of. So this right here on your side is going to be your exact column setup. And then you just want to click save and call this Rippy columns or whatever you want to call it. And now we're going to go over what each one of these mean and what numbers you really need to be looking for. So when we're dropshipping and testing products on TikTok and trying to get a product up to be able to scale it up as fast as possible, these are the columns that matter the most. And we're really just looking to get profitable sales. That's all we care about. So that's why we have these columns set up, and that's what we're looking for. So the first column over here is budget. This is really important, and I'm going to talk all about how you guys manage this throughout the day when you guys are testing products and running ads. So we'll go over that later, but that one's pretty self-explanatory. Your cost right here is how much your campaign has spent that specific day. And now the rest of these columns is really what matters. So conversions is essentially how many conversions your campaign achieved, or sales. Your cost per conversion is how much it costs for you to get each sale on your campaign. So this is very important because this is going to tell you how profitable you are. It's also crucial to understand your break-even CPA before you actually even end up running ads. So you need to know what your product price is going to be, and you need to know how much it actually costs to fulfill it with your supplier. I personally use Zendrop, and whenever I find a product, I just text it to the guy. He responds to me with what the price is, so then I know what my cost to fulfill the product actually will be. So if I start selling a product for $30, it costs me $10 to ship out the product to the customer. My break-even CPA is $20. You need to know this number before you start running ads because it's absolutely crucial. And within that example, what that means is I need to acquire every purchase under $20 to be profitable, and I need to keep my CPA column under 20 bucks. So if I got 100 sales at a $15 CPA, that means I profited $5 on every single sale that I got, and that equals 500 bucks in profit for that day. Carrying that example to this, you guys can see this campaign right here got 2 sales, but they were both at a $20 CPA. So this was basically breaking even or essentially losing money. But then these campaigns up here have 10 sales, each at a $6 CPA and each at an $8 CPA. That means these top 2 campaigns are very profitable. And on this campaign, I would have been making $12 per order. This campaign, I would have been making about $14 per order. So these 2 campaigns were profitable. This one was essentially breaking even or losing a little bit of money. So you absolutely need to know your break-even CPA before before you start running your ads, because if I don't know that number, how can I know if I should start scaling my campaign, if I should turn it off, or if I'm profitable or not? You have to know your break-even CPA. So one thing to note is your CPA is typically expected to go up the higher you price your product. So you guys saw in that last example, I was getting sales for $6 or for $8 cost per conversions. If I'm drop shipping a sauna for 2,600 bucks, I don't think I'm going to get a sale every $6 that I spend. Just because it's a higher priced product, you're probably going to have to spend a lot more to be able to reach a customer. Compared to if I'm selling this hoodie over here for $25, I probably can expect to get a $5 or a $6 CPA and be able to maintain that at scale. Now, these are obviously very extreme examples. So with that being said, low ticket products and lower price items are the sweet spot for TikTok ads. The audience on TikTok is younger. It's a lot more Gen Z. It's a lot more trendy products that work on here. So selling anything between like $30 to $40 really is a sweet spot on TikTok ads. Now, this is not to say I haven't had an average order value of $50 to $60 or even higher, but really the mass majority of the product that I scale on TikTok ads are priced at a way lower margin. So you can see some examples in here. This one is $19.99 with shipping on the back end. This one is $29.99. This one is $25. It's offers like this that work really well on TikTok just because of the buying power on there, the audience that's on there, and the type of products that we're selling. They really like to see those cheaper sided products. And if you think about it, if someone is just sitting there scrolling on their phone and they see an ad in front of their face and their product is $100 plus, more times than not, they're probably not going to convert right off of a TikTok ad. So these lower priced offers are really the sweet spot to be able to get TikTok ads to actually scale. So here's a few examples of some offers that I ran before and typically how most of my TikTok offers work that end up scaling really well. This is kind of how they're structured. So you can see on this first one, we're selling these jeans here for $29.99. Now, I'm not sure what these cost to source. It's probably a little bit more than 10 bucks. So we're selling these for $29.99. And when they go to checkout, they'll have a shipping option for either $5 or $8 on the back end. So the bare minimum that someone could spend is probably around $35. Now, what we also offer is if they buy 2 pairs of these pants, they can get the second one for 50% off, which will raise the AOV, and that will actually allow us to have free shipping on the back end, but a higher AOV up front. Now, please notice what I have in bold down here. Your bare minimum break-even margin in CPA should be $22 to $25. If you guys are scaling and selling a product and you only have a $10 or a $15 margin there, it's going to be really hard to make a lot of money and be able to spend thousands of dollars a day on ads while still maintaining like a $5 or a $10 CPA. That really does not happen. So the sweet spot you need to be going for is a $22 to a $25 bare minimum break-even CPA. If your product costs $5 to send out, then cool, you can sell it for 20 or 25 bucks. Just tag some shipping on the back end. If your product costs $20 to send out, then you probably want to have a bare minimum of a $40 to a $45 average order value, just so you can make sure you're hitting that $22 to $25 bare minimum break-even CPA. From the amount of money I spent on TikTok ads, from the amount of offers that I scaled, this really is a sweet spot. If you're going to sell anything with a $20 or $19 or $18 break-even CPA, you're going to have a really time scaling and being able to maintain a good profit margin, just because as you scale, your CPA is typically going to go up and you're not going to be able to do dozens or hundreds of orders while maintaining a profitable margin. So back into the examples right here, we're selling these camo pants for $19, but when they go to checkout, they'll have $10 or $15 on the back end, and that's going to be able to give us that $30 to $35 AOV. That's going to let us hit that break-even CPA of 22 to 25 bucks. And then this third one, as an example, we have these 2 styles of shorts that we were selling right here. They're both $24.99. We are charging $10 on the back end for shipping, so the bare minimum someone could spend was 35 bucks. These ones cost 12 bucks to send out. Or if you scroll below this add a cart button, you can't see it in the screenshot, they had the option to buy both of these for only 40 bucks. And then there was free shipping. And then that was still hitting our bare minimum break-even CPA of what we were going for. So with all things considered, before you start running ads, your cost per conversion column or your break-even CPA is really what you need to understand the most. And overall, the sweet spot on TikTok is selling products anywhere between a $25 to a $40 AOV. And if you can fit in a $22 to $25 break-even margin on there, you should be all set to go. And if your offer is going to work, it's going to work, and you should be able to scale it with a good margin, no problem. Now, continuing on, your ROAS column is basically your return on ad spend. Now, this is also very important as well. Let's say I were to spend $100 on ads and I made $200 back in sales. That means that I have a 2 ROAS. And this column is really important to look at too in case you have other offers on your store. So to be able to calculate your break-even ROAS, which is also very important to know, we're going to use this offer here as an example. So your break-even ROAS is your product price divided by your break-even CPA. So for these jeans here, we're selling them for $40. Let's say it cost them $15 to send out. We have a $25 break-even CPA. 40 divided by 25 is a 1.6 break-even ROAS. Now, why is this very important to know? Because look at this. If we have another offer here where we're selling 2 jeans for $60 in case the customer wants to buy both colors, we need to understand this. Our bundle is $60, but our product price doesn't double because our supplier can send them out in the same package. So we only have to pay for shipping once. So maybe for 1 unit, our cost is $15, but for 2 units, it's $25. That means if someone takes the bundle, our break-even CPA is $35. So what this essentially means is even though our baseline break-even CPA is $25, we could essentially have a $28, a $29, or a $30 CPA over on the ad account. And you might think that we're unprofitable, but we would not know that unless we look at the ROAS, because that's going to show us how many people took the bundle. If we do have multiple different offers or multiple different AOVs or quantity breaks where they could buy 1 for 20, 2 for 30, 3 for 40, we're not going to know if we're profitable or not just by looking at the CPA on the ad account. We have to know the ROAS at the same time as well. So the last important column that we have to go over besides our purchase metrics is just our click-through rate. This is all I really care about looking at when I'm testing out a product on TikTok ads besides my purchase metrics. I don't really care about my cost per click. I don't really care about my CPM that much. I want to see how many people are looking at the ad versus how many people are actually clicking on it. Now, a good click-through rate to go for is anything 2% and up over on TikTok. Typically, in 99% of scenarios, if your click-through rate is well under 1%, it probably means people are not that interested in your product or your ad. Not that many people are clicking on it. So it's going to be really hard to be profitable. When I'm starting out a day 1 test with my campaigns on TikTok ads, the main thing that I'm looking for is my click-through rate, and I want to see that it's high, somewhere between 1.5 to 3% plus. And that's just something that I'm looking at when I'm testing out before I start getting any sales to see if my ads are actually good or not. So now we're going to go over the actual ad strategy that I use to test and scale every time on TikTok. And I'm going to also case study that 100K day store day by day, show you how much I spent on ads, show you how I scaled them, and show you all the moves that I made inside of my ad account to be able to hit a $100,000 day on the 5th day of running a store. So this right here is basically my TikTok testing campaign setup. On TikTok, you always have to be extremely horizontal, which means you have multiple campaigns running at once. On Meta or Facebook, you can set up a CBO and spend $1 million on it all day and it'll just continuously optimize. On TikTok, you constantly have to make new campaigns every single day. And one campaign might have the same exact content and creatives in it as another campaign, but they might have very different performance. So you always have to be extremely horizontal every single time you guys are running ads. So my day 1 test every single day looks like this. It's basically just 3 CBOs with 1 ad group and all of my creatives stacked inside of it. Now for these lower ticket offers, I always start out my campaigns at $50. And typically this is how it works. The first campaign goes live at 6 a.m. The next campaign, which is an exact duplicate with all the same ads, goes live at 7 a.m. And then the third campaign, which is also the same exact duplicate, goes live at 8 a.m. Now, the reason that we do this is because when you're launching a brand new product and a brand new offer with brand new creatives, TikTok has no idea what to do with it out of the gate. It has to spend some money to be able to learn and understand where your customers are. So this 6 a.m. campaign will go live. It'll spend a few dollars. The 7 a.m. campaign will go live and it can launch right away into an audience based off of the data that the first campaign got. And then with the same thing with the 8 a.m. campaign, these campaigns should have spent maybe $5, $10, $15 by now. When the 8 a.m. campaign goes live, it should launch right away into the correct audience because it has the data to go off of from these first 2 campaigns. So I'm going to show you how to do the actual physical setup of these campaigns right now, and also a little trick inside of your ad account that'll allow you to get really good metrics every single time. So you can see even right here, we did this exact same setup. So inside of your ad account, you're just going to come to create. You'll come over to do sales, turn off GMV max. That's for TikTok shop. We want to have it on website, and then we'll start out with a manual campaign. You can call this Rippy CBO number 1, and then turn on campaign budget optimization and set this to $50. Coming into the next tab with our ad groups, which is where we kind of control all the targeting. Same thing again, you could just call this number 1. For our optimization event, we're going to go for purchases. I don't care if anyone ever says go for add to cart or initiate checkout first. All we care about is getting sales So we're always going to optimize for purchases right out of the gate. And whenever we get a sale, this is going to reflect back on that conversion column that we talked about earlier. Coming down to placements, always do select placements, turn these two off, make sure it's only on TikTok. And then it's up to you guys if you want to leave comments on or not. If you do decide to leave comments on, make sure you come to this tools tab and come over to comments over here on the left and make sure you're actively managing them in case people are hating or saying dropshipper or whatever it is. Now into our demographics, I never, ever touch this. The only thing that I might ever do is I'll change the gender to female if I'm running an only female product. But most of the time I just leave this completely broad. TikTok even tells you right here, broad targeting is the best solution. And that's just because the algorithm is so good. You guys know that if you look up or talk about one thing one day, the next time you open TikTok on your phone, you're going to see a video about it. So it's just always best to let the algorithm do its thing. I personally run all my TikTok stores in the United States only. This is also up to you what you want to choose. The USA is the best market. So we have to really do nothing here other than just set the time to 6 a.m. for the next day. Then over here, we're just going to click continue. Up top, we want to turn on this feature called Smart Creative Ads, which is what's going to allow us to stack all of the ads inside of one single ad group. Now here you can set your custom identity. You can make this the name of your store. You can do what I did and pretend like you're some girl trying to come off as like a regular TikTok account. It's completely up to you. And then you'll just upload all of your ads inside of this column. I use these two videos for this bracelet as an example. And then in the text, you typically want to write your offer or something that sounds like it's like the girl or the guy that's reviewing the product. Don't say some NPC shit like sale ends today. Sound like a real human being. So I'll say something like OMG, this bracelet for only 25, and I'll put these little greater than signs as if it's like this actual girl that wrote this. And then these have been working very well on TikTok ads. It's called a website info card or a display card, and I'm gonna show you what that looks like right now. You can essentially come into here, add a little picture of your product, maybe put the title of it, and then put a selling point or what your offer is or what a deal is. And it's going to create this little card right here on your ad. And it works really well with getting a higher click-through rate, a lower cost per click, and it just makes the ad look overall more attractive so more people actually click on. We'll click confirm, and then we'll just put in our website link, and then you can publish this, and then you're going to be done. The campaign should be here in your ad account. Now, all you're going to do is hover over it, click duplicate. You don't have to touch anything. This you can just call CBO2. And then the only thing you have to change is over here in the ad group tab, you'll just make the time for this one to go live at 7 a.m. And then you'll just duplicate this one more time and do a third campaign for 8 a.m. Click publish, and then you have the entire testing strategy set up. So now your campaigns will be set up. You'll have something that looks like this. Now, the only thing that I care about to look at is what is my click-through rate and am I getting sales or not? So as you start spending on the first day, just monitor your click-through rate. Do not cut off your campaign within $5 or $15 or $20 to spend. Let all of your campaigns spend. Your click-through rate should essentially get better throughout the day as long as you have a good ad. And lately on TikTok, sometimes your day one might always look bad no matter what. So I always give my test a day two. So let's say I do a day one test. It looks like this. All these campaigns spent anywhere between 15 to 20 bucks. My click-through rates were not that good at all, and I got 0 sales. What I did was turn all of these campaigns off, reduplicated all of them for the next day. And you can see here on day two, I had the exact same campaign set up, just duplicated them, and I ended up getting all of these sales like I showed you earlier, and we ended up getting 22 sales at an $8 CPA with the same exact campaigns. It's pretty crazy that on day one, everything looked really bad, terrible click-through rates and no sales, and all we did was duplicate this for day two, use that data from day one just to let it learn, and now on day two, we actually got the real metrics, it delivered the right way, and we got sales on our campaigns and started scaling them up. So always give your tests a day two if you think you had a really bad day one. And every single day, I always turn off all of my campaigns from the first day and duplicate all of them again for the second day. And we're going to kind of go over the entire scaling strategy right now as well. So you know it's time to start scaling your product when you ran your campaign test for 1 to 2 days. You started getting sales. They were all profitable. You have a low CPA, a high ROAS, and now it's time to start ramping up your ad spend and the amount of campaigns that you have. So you can scale day one on TikTok as long as you're getting sales. Over on Meta, even if I got sales on day one, I just kind of let my campaign sit and learn. On TikTok on day one, if you're getting sales, you can start turning up that budget on your campaigns from $50 and start raising it up to go really high. So you guys can see here in this product that I scaled, I used that same exact testing strategy that I just showed. I just had 4 campaigns instead of 3. On day one, I started getting a lot of sales. All these campaigns started out at $50. So I just started increasing the budget on them as long as I started getting sales coming in. The key to scaling on TikTok is you're scaling horizontally and vertically at the same time. You're increasing your campaigns budgets while also duplicating your campaigns and making more of them day by day. The amount that you increase your budget by and the amount of campaigns that you make daily depends on how many sales you're getting and how profitable you are, and it's all about feeling it out. So you guys can see in this example on day one, I had those 4 campaigns of that testing strategy set up. I started getting a lot of sales. If you get any sales on day one, that's a really good sign. So since I got all these conversions, I was really profitable. On day one, I had 4 campaigns. Day 2, I turned these all off, duplicated all of them exactly the same, and I went up to 10 campaigns. Once these all started running, you can see as sales started coming in, I just started increasing the budgets throughout the day. By day 5, I had 30 duplicates of these campaigns just because of how many orders I was getting and how profitable I actually was. Now, when you have this many campaigns running at the same time, typically only half of them will be profitable and the other half will not be profitable. So it's really important to look in your ad account as you start getting sales and as the day starts, and look at what campaigns are getting sales, increase the budget on those, and the campaigns that aren't performing, start turning those off. So just take the amount of campaigns that you run day by day, slow and steady. If you're very, very, very profitable, then you can start going horizontal with your campaigns day by day and go from 4 campaigns to 10 to 15 to 20. If maybe you're having a decent profit margin, but it's not an insane amount of sales that's coming in, maybe you go from 4 campaigns to 6 campaigns to 9 campaigns and just manage your budgets throughout the day and pay attention to what your CPA is. Here's another example of what I'm showing off when I'm talking about when to cut your campaigns. So I always sort my ad account by conversions descending, so the campaigns with the most amount of sales are on the top. I'll just do this and I'll just take a look at, like I said, my cost per add to cart. If they're too high, then they're gonna go off. And if they look like this up here and they have the same cost per add to cart as all my top performing campaigns, I'll let it run a little bit and see if any sales start rolling in. Now, the main overall factor of how to scale on TikTok ads is surfing. And what surfing means is just vertically increasing your campaign budget as it starts getting sales. So if I start out my day 1 test with those $50 campaigns and a campaign gets 2 sales profitably, I'm gonna bump that $50 budget to $100 to allow it to spend more and get more sales coming in. The amount that you bump your campaign by is how profitable you are and how many sales you're actually making. So as you can see in this campaign right here, we're at a $450 budget. It has 31 sales at a $14 CPA and almost a 5 ROAS. I can bump this campaign by $300 or $400 or $500 even, just because of how profitable it is. Now this campaign over here has a $700 budget, but the CPA is a little bit higher. It's at 23 bucks and my ROAS is at 2.7. It's a little bit less profitable. So I'll only bump this campaign probably by 100 or 200 bucks. This campaign is less profitable, so I can bump this one less and I can bump the one that is more profitable. I kind of had some word jumbo in that sentence, but I'm sure you get what I'm saying. Now, the higher you bump your budget, the faster your campaign will spend. So typically, I get in my ad account once every hour. I'll bump all of my budgets, take a screenshot of what it looks like, come back in another hour. Any campaign that ended up getting sales, I'll bump those ones again. So as you can see on this example right here, this is a day 1 testing day. This campaign started spending. It got 3 sales at a $7 CPA and a 7 ROAS. I can bump this from 50 to even $150 or $200 I would have been comfortable at. This campaign right here, it got 3 sales, but it's at a little bit higher of a cost per conversion. My ROAS is a little bit lower, so I'll only go from $50 to $100 on this one. You can still bump the campaign. It's just by a lesser amount depending on how profitable it is. Now, for the very last example, here's another day 1 test day of the same strategy that I've always been running. We set up the 3 campaigns. 2 campaigns got 1 sale. They're at a $30 cost per conversion. This one's at a $25 cost per conversion. It's a little bit unprofitable, but the middle campaign, it has 3 sales at a $9 CPA. So this one's ready to go for a bump from 50 to, I would probably put it at about $100 or $150. Now, this is also why we go horizontal. Imagine I only ran 1 of these campaigns. I would just assume the performance is bad, but since we had 3, we had more chances of a campaign being even more profitable. So this looked really well, and this middle campaign is ready to bump the budget on it. Now I'm going to take you guys through my ad account day by day of that 100K day store, show you how much I spent on ads every day, show you what I did with my campaign, show you how I scaled it up, and even show you how much revenue I brought back, what my exact profit margins were, and everything above and beyond to show you guys how fast you can really scale with dropshipping on TikTok ads. If this is something that you guys want one-to-one direct help with, you guys can click the link below to apply to Rippy Plus. This is my one-on-one coaching program where I give you daily feedback on every move you're making to show you how to scale like I'm showing you in this very video. We have tons of people in here. We have one of the highest success rates out of any dropshipping programs on the entire internet. Victor here just the other day hit a $2.2 thousand day at a 45% profit margin. One of our literal coaches also just did a $100,000 day, which is pretty fucking insane. My boy Parker right here ended up joining Plus, sees everything that we're doing in here and understands how to scale. Now he's running multiple stores at once. He's got one store at 3K a day, one store at 4K a day. And my wins channel goes on and on. Here's another one. My boy Rocco hit a $10,000 day his first day running this product. The results and wins of everyone that's in Rippy Plus can go on forever and ever, but you kind of get the point. We're a program where we actually give you daily feedback on what you're doing in your specific store. It's not me saying it's one-on-one coaching and it's just some group server bullshit. There's me and 4 other 7+ figure coaches that are helping you pick products, helping you build your stores, and managing your ad account day by day to be able to hit scales like the ones I'm showing you in this video. So if this sounds good to you and you guys are testing products or you're stuck in a loop and can't actually unlock scale, click the application below and apply. We got a pretty crazy community in here, but anyway, back to the case study. So on the very first day of running this store, we ran with the exact same ad strategy. We had these 3 campaigns set up right here. And as they started getting sales coming in, we started bumping the budgets on them. They all started at about 50 bucks. You can see by the end of the day, this campaign ended up spending 148 bucks. This campaign spent $87. This campaign spent 56 bucks. And it's just as the sales were coming in and they were profitable, we would turn up the budget. One thing that we did here on this day one is since we had so many sales coming in, we just duplicated the campaigns midday towards the end of the day. These ones didn't end up performing that well. So we ended up spending $400 on ads on the first day and brought back $1,400 in sales on this day. And our total profit on day one was $522, which was pretty crazy for a day one. And these are all of my costs and what my actual margin was on this specific day. Coming in on the next day, all we did was duplicate those exact same campaigns. So we turned those off on the first day and duplicated 10 to go live again for the second day. These all started at 50 bucks. As the sales started rolling in, we started bumping the budgets on these. You can see on the top one, we spent 400 bucks. On the next one, we spent 350. This one, we spent $430. So we started bumping the budgets on these throughout the day as the sales were rolling in and they were profitable. Some campaigns at the end of the day, we duplicated again and started at a higher budget. They didn't end up performing that well though. So overall on this day, we spent $2,600 over on TikTok. And coming in on Shopify, we brought back 6.9K, which was pretty crazy. And our profit margin on this day was very high, and we made almost 2,000 bucks on the second day of running this store. Now on the 18th, I don't exactly remember what happened. I think we just duplicated 10 campaigns again to run for this day, but we ended up having a payment issue on the ad account or something like that, so we weren't able to actually spend a lot. So we spent 600 bucks on ads this day, and we ended up bringing back 1,800 bucks. So that still gave us a profit of 586 bucks. Now, even though we had the spending issue and we didn't do as much revenue, I still knew by the metrics and the amount of sales we're getting, we had a lot of potential on this. So I kept the scale going. Once again, turned all these 10 campaigns off on day 3 and reduplicated all of them to go live again on day 4. On the 19th, we duplicated all these campaigns again, bumped the budget as they were getting sales. You can see here, the CPA is getting a little bit higher. It's at 29, 22, 22. But if I didn't have my ROAS column on, I wouldn't know that these were still profitable. My click-through rates all look good. We're getting sales. Everything looks nice. So on this day, we spent 3,200 bucks over on Shopify. We ended up bringing back 8.9K, which was our biggest day yet. And we ended up profiting $2,500 on the 4th day of running the store, which is pretty fucking nuts. Now, this is where it kind of got a little bit crazy. What we ended up doing on this day is we started a bunch of campaigns with new creatives and new videos in them. So we started out with only 5 videos. We introduced a shit ton more on this day. So coming into the 20th, we made a lot of campaigns and we were able to spend $20,000 on this day. So you can see just one campaign had 147 sales. This one had 124, all this stuff. You can see the amount of money that each campaign ended up spending. We were probably at over $10,000 in budget on these campaigns by how hard we were bumping them. And we spent 20K on this day. And we went from an 8.9K to a fucking $74,000 day on the 4th or 5th day of running the store, which is absolutely fucking berserk. Now, once again, this is nothing special. I did the exact same testing strategy that I showed you guys. I had a product and an offer like I showed you in the example. What allowed us to scale this hard was we had a $65 average order value. So we had a really, really big profit margin. So that's what allowed us to unlock this much scale. You guys can see, I'm saying a $22 to a $25 bare minimum break-even CPA, but on this, I think it was even in the low 30s. So we had a lot of room to spend money on ads. So on the 5th day, we did $74,000 in sales, up from 8.9 thousand. We profited almost 30 racks in a single fucking day on the 5th day of running a brand new dropshipping store, all TikTok ads. Pretty fucking insane. Now for the big day, the $102,000 day, all TikTok ads on the 21st, we spent $28,000 on ads. I think we had 30 campaigns go live this day. They were just a mix of all the creatives from the first few days, a mix of the creatives from the next few days, and we just started going really crazy. Our metrics looked really good. This is on a Monday, mind you, and we just started bumping up our budget as high as we could go, and it was crazy because all the sales were coming in, but the CPA was really not rising that much, which usually happens, so I just kept bumping and bumping and bumping. I think at the peak towards the end of the day, we had campaigns. You can see this one was at 35K. This top campaign, I think, even had a $60,000 budget. But even with those high budgets, we still only spent $3,100 at most on one of the top campaigns. And, you can see what our ROAS was all here on this day. I'm going to refresh again for you. This is all completely real. All TikTok ads, $28,000 spent. $102,000 in sales came back on just this day, and we profited $38,000 fucking dollars in a singular day running ads on a dropshipping store, all on TikTok, and it feels like it's an illegal money glitch, and we just spawned this out of thin air. This is how fucking crazy it can go once you crack TikTok ads. Now, once again, we just rinsed and repeated the same thing. I'll just show you guys the 22nd. We ended up doing the same shit. We spent $11,000 on ads this day. I think we ended up having another payment issue, so we still ended up doing a $46,000 day, which is pretty fucking nuts. We still had a really high average order value, and the profit on this day was another $20,000. So it's like we were just shitting fuck you money out of thin air with this product and scaling up on TikTok ads like this. It was absolutely insane. So to add up our totals here, in just 6 days from complete scratch, we did $242,000 in sales from zero. We spent about $67,000 total on ads. We spent $75,000 total on the product cost, and our payment processing fees was a little over 8.3K, making the total profit in just 6 days $90,000, which is absolutely insane. So this is basically how I've been running TikTok ads over the last 2.5 years. I just basically make these low ticket offers, and I set up my 3 to 4 campaigns on day one. As sales start coming in, I start increasing the budgets. If I'm profitable, I'll just duplicate my campaigns always going into day 2 and just take it as high as I can go while paying attention to what my break-even CPA and what my break-even ROAS is, making sure that I don't go above it. So once again, if this is something you guys actually want one-on-one help with, you guys can click the application below to join Rippy Plus. Like I said, I have unlimited wins. Here's Parker doing another $10,000 day. Heichel just hit his first $1,000 day. Velo's been averaging $10,000 a day on TikTok. This is not just some anomaly or some crazy scale or some method that only works here and there. We actually have a system to continuously do this over and over and over. And once again, even one of our coaches just had a $100,000 day just last week doing this exact same thing. So if you guys want one-on-one help with everything that I'm showing you inside of this video, click the link in the description below to join. If not, hop in the Rippy Club server for free. We're doing calls 2 times a week in there, and I talk to you guys in there all the time. So hopefully this video helps you guys with TikTok ads, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace out.